Let's lock in. Shakur Stevenson pulls the plug on Josh Padley. Now, Josh Padley has been getting a lot of props because he has a part-time job, and he was working his part-time job when he got the call asking him to replace Floyd Schofield and face Shakur Stevenson. Now, although Josh Padley's an electrician, he's still a highly skilled professional fighter who's ranked in the top 15 in 3 sanctioning bodies. Every sanctioning body except the WBA. So it's not like he's someone who has no skill, no talent, and isn't up there in terms of being a contender, because he is in 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies. So he steps in on short notice to replace Floyd Schofield and to fight Shakur Stevenson. And he gets a lot of props for that. He gets a lot of respect for that. But at the end of his fight with Shakur Stevenson, he said something, and I'm just going to play it to you right now. And this is from A-Side High Level Boxing. He posted this. Josh Padley says Shakur has no power. Everyone already knew that, though. All right, let's listen to what he said.
Cool. In terms of punch power,
the punch power to the head, obviously. The head shots weren't bothering me. It was just the body, the conditioning for the body probably wasn't there. 4 days notice.
Now, here's my thing. He said to the head, no, but to the body. Look, you got stopped. How you get stopped and say he has no power? If he has no power, you wouldn't have got stopped. You didn't get stopped in every fight. You got stopped in the fight against him. So something stopped you. You went down multiple times. Something put you down. And this is where, like, my issue comes in with boxing, because there's like an extreme bias. You want to set the bar for a Shakur so high it's impossible to meet, but you don't do the same for other people. And that's what annoys me when I watch the sport of boxing. You got to be real, bro. You said maybe because your conditioning was off because you took the camp on 4 days notice. Or you took the fight on 4 days notice. One, again, you knew you were taking the fight on 4 days notice. You knew that. You were on weight and you made weight. So you couldn't have been that far off in terms of conditioning. You took the fight, you made weight, you stepped in the ring. You said the punches to the head weren't hurting you, but the punches to the body were, and that's what stopped you. Cool. If you want to say it was because you didn't have a full training camp, you knew that was a possibility. But to just flat out say he doesn't have power, to me, like, or to try to downplay his power, it annoys me. There's also another thing that annoys me, and I'm going to show you right now. I tweeted about it yesterday, and I'm gonna post it right now. I stated, the UK commentators say Shakur needs to step it up after praising 2 runners in the last 2 fights. Bias at its finest, right? Now, I watched Madrimov and I watched Shiraz. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. If you're being honest and objective, you can't tell me Shiraz Adames was more entertaining than Shakur Padley. You can't tell me that. Now, Ortiz Madrimov was more entertaining, but it wasn't because of Madrimov. So the standard for Shakur is just ridiculous. Now, you want to see Shakur knock people out like that. He's a 135-pounder. You're being spoiled by Inoue. You're being spoiled by Tank. Let me tell you, when I was watching boxing back in the days growing up, when I was a youngster, these 135-pounders were the bill fillers. And they would punch each other 1,000 times and no one would get knocked out. Knockout artists in the lower divisions is a beautiful thing to see. It's bringing recognition to the lower divisions, and that's why the lower divisions are starting to move up in terms of headlining. But this wasn't always the case. So saying that Shakur doesn't have any power in that's 135 was never a division known for knockout artists like that. You'll get an occasional freak of nature like Javante. And then you'll have the 135 pounders who are just skilled and just beat you with skill. And it's always been you put that anomaly at 135 in with the best boxer at 135 and let's see what happens. But everyone at 135 isn't knocking people out. Just like with Naoya anyway, everyone at 126 and 122 doesn't just go around knocking people out. That's what makes Inoue and Tank unique. But to disrespect Shakur and say he doesn't have power, clearly he has power because something stopped Padley in his tracks. Something made Padley wary. Something. Regardless of what Padley says, Padley, you didn't make it to the 12th round. Just as much as you all give Padley credit, and I see people giving Padley credit like, oh, he's a hero. He has big grapefruits. He was working and he took on Shakur Stevenson and got beat up and got stopped. And you still praise him, but you disrespect Shakur. Shakur could have said, bump it, I'm not fighting anyone. I'm going to be in a lose-lose situation. Shakur's situation is, I can't get Cepeda. I can't get Frank Martin. I can't get Vasily Lomachenko. I'm not saying Tank is scared of Shakur because I think Tank is a great fighter. And, you know, I like Tank. I'm a Tank fan. I'm not a Tank fanboy. That's a bit different. And Tank Shakur in a fight, I don't know where I'm leaning, but Tank can knock out Shakur, and I think like that's a real possibility. It's also possible Shakur boxes his head off. But again, we won't know until we see that fight. But my thing is, he's not going to get Tank in the ring without Tank feeling like he's worthy of it, which Tank said he doesn't, one, and two, the money being right. How can Shakur build himself up into a fighter where the money can be right for him to get a fight against Gervonta Tank Davis if the fighters with the names keep avoiding him or pulling out of fights with him? If he's pillow fish, if he can't punch, why are you getting knocked out? If he's pillow fish, if he can't punch, why are none of y'all stepping in the ring to fight him? This is just what I want to know. I want to know how good Shakur is because I want to see if Shakur could make William Cepeda look the way he made Josh Padley look last night. I want to see if Shakur can make Vasily Lomachenko look the way he made Josh Padley look last night. I want to see if he can do it to Tank. Shakur and Keyshawn got this friendship where they don't want to fight each other or whatever the case may be. But that may be what needs to happen for one of them to emerge. Because this is crazy. I don't understand why Shakur is criticized and judged at such a higher level than some other people. He did the only thing you can do. He's beating everyone you put in front of him. You gave him Josh Padley on short notice, and he stopped him. And then Josh Padley will go and say something crazy like, oh, I didn't feel any power from him, although he didn't see the final bell. And if you feel no power from this dude, why didn't you take more risks? Why didn't you go in there? Why didn't you stop it, man? See, this is the stuff I don't like. And then we'll allow someone like Josh Padley to say Shakur Stevenson doesn't have power after he got stopped by Shakur Stevenson. And then in the same token, we'll praise him for taking a fight against Shakur Stevenson on short notice. Why are you praising him for fighting someone who has no pillow, who has no power? If that's the case, why didn't he shock the world, electric man? Why didn't you shock the world, Mr. Electrician? Since he has no power, since Shakur has no power, the electric man should have turned his lights out. But that's not what happened. He's clearly better than Mark Chamberlain. Like this is what I don't like. Like the Shakur slander and all that needs to stop. Shakur beat that boy ass, period, point blank. Beat his ass. He would have beat his ass any day, anytime, anywhere, any training camp. Padley's just not in his league. Period. End of discussion. Like, I don't understand why, like, people gotta make, it just is annoying, man. Like, I get it. Like, you can have your favorite fighters, and that's cool. But you don't gotta downplay. Like, was Shakur's performance against Padley scare Gervonta Tank Davis? Hell no. Will Shakur's performance against Padley change the mind of someone who already believes that Tank will stop Shakur? Hell no. It won't. If that's your takeaway from this fight, I agree with you. I'm the same way. Shakur showed me nothing against Padley that would make me second guess how I feel about a fight between Shakur and Gervonta Tank Davis. With all that being said, I am not going to take away from what Shakur did to Padley, who is a fighter who is ranked higher than Floyd Schofield in the WBC and with the other sanctioning bodies. I'm not going to do that. And yes, he took the fight on short notice, but so did Shakur. And trust me, I know for a fact Shakur wished he was whooping on Floyd Schofield instead of Padley. But it's not Shakur's fault Floyd Schofield didn't make it to the ring. So don't penalize him for that. Shakur showed up and he did what he was supposed to do. Padley showed up and he did what he was supposed to do. I have no issues with Padley. My only issue with Padley is don't sit down in an interview and try to disrespect someone who just stopped you. And I would have that same issue with any fighter. And if you watch, I'm consistent across the board. So that's where I leave it. To me, Shakur had a good performance on a card. He didn't put people to sleep. He didn't run. He left that to some of the other fighters on the card. And we're going to get into that a little later. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe. It's Caden. You can listen to this podcast on all major streaming services. I'm out. Peace.